The human fleet moved silently through the black stretch of space, a thin line of steel against the infinite void. Stars twinkled coldly around them, indifferent to the movements of mortal life. Commander Alara Voss stood on the bridge of the flagship Aurora, her hands resting lightly on the console as her eyes scanned the holographic displays. The disputed sector stretched ahead, a region of space the galaxy had long avoided, whispered about in military archives and scientific journals, known to harbor remnants of civilizations lost to time. Alien relics, abandoned stations, and weapons of forgotten power lay hidden among the asteroid fields and nebulae. The humans had been sent to survey this sector, to understand what lay hidden, and to prepare for potential threats. It was supposed to be a simple mission. Scan, observe, report. But nothing in this galaxy was simple. A low hum of the ship's engines filled the bridge, steady and comforting, until the sensors flickered. Something had changed. "Commander," said Lieutenant Ryan, his voice steady but tense, "I'm picking up multiple energy signatures on long-range sensors. They're not ours." Voss turned sharply, her eyes narrowing. "Describe them." "They're moving toward us," Ryan replied, fingers flying across his console. "Massive ships, energy outputs far beyond anything we expected for this sector. And they're observing us, almost like they know we're here before we've made a sound." Voss exhaled slowly, feeling the tension coil in her stomach. "Open a visual feed. I want to see them." The main screen flickered, and then the bridge filled with the sight of a fleet unlike anything humans had seen before. Sleek, angular ships glimmered with black metal, their hulls etched with glowing symbols that pulsed rhythmically, like hearts beating in unison. They moved in formation with perfect synchronicity, their movements fluid, as if the fleet itself were a single organism. Ryan's eyes widened. "They're laughing at us. Or at least I think they are." Voss frowned. "Explain." "Their energy readings, sensors are picking up pulses that correspond to amusement. The subtle, almost like they're studying us, judging us, mocking us. Our weapons, they think we're primitive. Our fleet looks small, outdated, vulnerable." Voss gritted her teeth. "They'll learn soon enough that humans are not so simple." She turned to the rest of the crew, her voice steady but firm. "Stay calm. Do not provoke them. Scan everything. I want every detail about their ships, their formations, their energy output, and any signals they're sending. We are observers first, fighters second. Understand that clearly." The crew nodded, fingers flying over consoles, eyes glued to sensors and screens. There was a quiet hum of nervous energy on the bridge, the kind that comes before the unknown. The fleet had never encountered aliens like this. Entire generations of humans had grown up believing the galaxy was vast, filled with other species, some friendly, some hostile. But nothing had prepared them for the weight of being watched by a power that could reduce them to ash in moments. Yet, among the tension, there was something else. A spark of determination, subtle but unyielding. Humans had always survived against impossible odds. They had endured plagues, wars, and natural disasters that would have broken lesser species. And now, floating silently through the void, facing a fleet of unknown origin, humans felt that same fire awaken. "Commander," Ryan said, pointing at the sensor display, "there's something else, hidden, something big. It's hard to describe. Energy readings unlike anything we've cataloged. It's massive, pulsing, artificial, but not like any station or ship we know. It's alive somehow." Voss's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The holographic display zoomed into a section of the sector, revealing a structure concealed within a dense asteroid field. The mass was enormous, hundreds of kilometers across, pulsing with a strange, unnatural energy. Its surface shimmered, almost like liquid metal, yet solid. Patterns of light and dark twisted across its hull, moving and shifting as though it were breathing. Mara, the ship's chief technician, leaned forward, voice trembling. "Commander, this isn't just a station. Something more. I can't explain it. The energy, it doesn't match anything we've encountered. And yet it's stable, perfectly contained. Someone, or something built this with intention, with precision. And it's old. Very old. Voss took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the discovery press on her chest. Set a course, she said, voice low and resolute. We need to get closer, but maintain stealth. I don't want them to know we're observing. Not yet. The Aurora adjusted its trajectory, slipping silently through the asteroid field. The massive structure loomed larger with each passing hour, its pulses resonating faintly in the hull, vibrating through the floors, echoing in the minds of the crew. Humans had never encountered anything like this, not even in simulations or theoretical models. Every instinct screamed that this was dangerous. Every rational thought said to turn back. And yet, curiosity and determination drove them forward. Hours later, the human sensors detected movement. Shadows shifted across the surface of the structure. Alien ships, smaller and faster, emerged from hidden bays, scanning the Aurora with precision. They've noticed us, Ryan said, voice low. They're studying us. Voss felt the tension tighten in her shoulders. Not for long, she said softly. Her fingers hovered over the control panel. The Aurora's weapon systems, dormant for centuries, hummed faintly in response, awakening at her touch. It was subtle at first, a vibration that ran along the deck, felt more than heard. Then it grew stronger, resonating through every bulkhead, through every metal joint, a low, deep hum that made the hairs on the crew's arms stand on end. Mara looked around, eyes wide with awe. Commander, the weapons, they're alive. Voss nodded, heart racing. Not alive, Mara. Controlled. And for the first time in this sector, humans will be ready. The alien fleet observed silently, their sensors registering the hum, the vibration, the subtle surge of power from the human flagship. Their earlier amusement faded slightly. Perhaps they had underestimated humans too easily. Perhaps this was the first time they realized that appearances could be deceiving. The Aurora edged closer to the massive energy station, the asteroid field twisting around it like a natural defense. Every pulse of the unknown structure was felt as a faint vibration across the hull. The crew could not explain it, could not predict it, but they could feel it. The tension was nearly unbearable, a coiled spring ready to snap. Commander, Ryan whispered, they're moving to intercept. The smaller ships, they're forming a blockade. Voss's eyes flickered across the viewscreen. The alien ships were elegant, terrifying in their coordination, a perfect formation designed to deter any intruder. And yet, humans had faced impossible odds before. They would not back down. Prepare for engagement, Voss ordered. Her voice was calm, precise, but carried the weight of command. Sensors record everything. Navigation find every path, every angle, every potential escape. Weapons, stand by but do not fire. Not yet. Observe. Learn. And when the moment comes, strike with precision. Mara's hands shook as she monitored the railgun systems. It's ready. The hum. It's steady now. The deck. It's vibrating with energy. It's like the ship itself knows what's coming. Voss placed her hand lightly on the console, feeling the subtle resonance beneath her fingers. It does, she said. It responds to human intent. Every ship has potential. Every human has will. And together, we are more than they anticipate. The alien sensors flickered across the Aurora, their movements cautious now, the earlier laughter gone. For the first time, they studied humans not with amusement, but with caution, as if realizing that this species, this small fleet of unassuming ships, carried a force beyond expectation. And then the moment came. The hum of the railguns grew louder, vibrating through the decks like the heartbeat of a giant predator. Every crew member felt it in their chest, in their bones, in the tips of their fingers. This was the first time the human fleet's true potential had been felt, even in a small, controlled test. The energy pulsed, shaking consoles, rattling tools, resonating with a low, almost imperceptible roar. Humans understood it instinctively. Power was here. Raw, unstoppable, terrifying in its simplicity. Voss looked at her crew, eyes sharp, voice steady. The unknown has arrived, and for the first time, humans are ready to meet it. The stars seem to hold their breath. The aliens hesitated, the energy station pulsing in time with the human flagship's awakening. And in that moment, the first hum of railguns reverberating through the deck, the galaxy felt a tremor. Not yet visible, not yet destructive, but a tremor nonetheless. Humans had arrived. The unknown was aware, and nothing would ever be the same again. The tension on the bridge of the Aurora was palpable. Every creak of the hull, every flicker of the lights, every subtle vibration from the railgun's hum resonated through the crew like a warning. Humans had never faced anything like this. The alien fleet loomed ahead, dark and elegant, their ships moving in formation as if the void itself obeyed their will. Their weapons glinted under distant starlight, deadly and precise. And yet, for the first time in human history, no one on the Aurora felt fear. Commander Alara Voss stood at the center of the bridge, her eyes locked on the holographic display showing the alien positions. She knew what her crew was feeling. The mixture of excitement, tension, and awe. Humans had survived wars that had shattered planets. They had endured threats that no other species could imagine. And now, against these unknown adversaries, they carried a power the galaxy had never seen. The railguns. Lieutenant Ryan shifted beside her, whispering, "Commander, they're moving closer. It's as if they sense something different about us." Voss nodded slightly, her mind calculating every variable, every possible outcome. "Let them come," she said softly, almost to herself. "Let them see. Let them learn the true force of human intent. But remember, this is not just power. This is responsibility. One shot can change everything." The aliens closed in, their formation tightening, elegant, precise, intimidating. Their energy fields shimmered with a confidence born of centuries of dominance. They had crushed countless species before. They believed humans would be no different. Yet as the hum of the railguns grew louder, subtle but commanding, even the humans felt a shift in the air. The unknown structure ahead pulsed faintly, responding almost imperceptibly to the Aurora's presence. "Targeting array online," Mara said, voice trembling, a mixture of fear and excitement. "The railguns are ready. Systems report optimal firing conditions. Energy levels beyond anything we've anticipated. We're at full capacity." Ryan swallowed hard, glancing at the alien fleet. If we actually fire, we could destroy multiple ships in one shot. But the scale, it's terrifying." Voss's eyes narrowed, determination blazing. "We are not here to frighten. We are here to survive. And if survival demands that we strike, we strike. But precise, controlled, calculated. Every shot counts, every pulse matters. Humans do not waste power, Ryan. We aim, we calculate, and we execute." The crew adjusted their positions, hearts racing. Fingers hovered over controls, eyes fixed on the holographic screens showing the alien formations. Every ship, every movement. A single command from Voss could unleash the power that had slept dormant for centuries. One shot could send a warning that would echo across the galaxy, or ignite a war that no human could contain. The aliens, confident in their superiority, began to taunt. Visual feeds flickered with their symbols, glowing patterns that twisted and writhed. A language humans did not understand but could feel in their minds. A subtle pressure, a psychological push meant to intimidate, to fracture human composure. But the crew of the Aurora did not falter. Instead, they tightened their grip on their stations, hearts hammering in rhythm with the railgun hum. Voss took a deep breath. "Steady. Hold until the alignment is perfect. Observe their formation, their weaknesses, and then strike. Not in anger, not in haste, but in precision. Remember, humans survive not because we fear, but because we endure, we plan, and we execute." The alien fleet shifted suddenly, attempting to flank the human flagship. The sensors beeped warnings, approach vectors converging on both sides. The crew felt the pressure, the stakes rising. Every moment counted. Every miscalculation could mean destruction. And yet, In that chaos, a strange clarity emerged. "Fire control ready," Mara said, voice shaking but confident. "All calculations verified. Railgun alignment perfect. Energy levels stable. Commander, we are ready." Ryan glanced at Voss, eyes wide. "This is it, one shot. One single shot. The galaxy doesn't even know what's coming." Voss nodded, hand moving to the firing control, not with fear, but with calm authority. "One shot," she said. "Let them see the cost of underestimating humans." The deck vibrated as the railguns charged. A deep hum resonated through the hull, felt in the bones, heard in the hearts of the crew. Light flared along the barrels, energy building, immense, controlled, alive. The aliens paused, their formations faltering slightly, sensing the sudden power emanating from the human flagship. "Brace for impact," Voss commanded. The shot fired. Time seemed to stretch. The railgun's beam ripped through the vacuum, a streak of white-hot energy cutting with perfect precision. The first alien ship in the line erupted in a brilliant explosion, metal twisting, energy surging outward, tearing apart the surrounding fleet. The shockwave rippled through space, shaking nearby ships, sending panic through the alien ranks. The crew on the Aurora held their breath, eyes wide, hearts pounding as the second and third ships were obliterated in rapid succession. The aliens' confidence shattered, replaced with disbelief and fear. Symbols flickered violently on their hulls, communications garbled, sensors overloaded. They had underestimated humans. Ryan's hands shook as he observed the destruction. It's impossible," he whispered. "How can one shot?" Voss's eyes were steady, voice calm but firm. "Not impossible, Ryan. Calculated. Precise. Human ingenuity. That's how. We endure. We adapt. We strike where it counts. That is why we survive. That is why we are humans." The aliens attempted to regroup, sending waves of attacks toward the Aurora, but the humans anticipated, maneuvered, and adjusted their fire. The railguns hummed again, ready to strike, controlled, deadly, perfect. Every shot was calculated, every energy pulse measured, every movement precise. Humans had transformed their fury, their fear, their tension into strategy, into action, into unstoppable force. Mara's voice trembled as she reported, "Commander, the fleet, they're breaking, they're retreating. They didn't expect this. They didn't see it coming." Voss exhaled slowly, allowing herself a small measure of pride. "They will remember this day. They will remember the power humans wield. And they will understand. Never underestimate us again." The alien fleet scattered into the void, retreating into the darkness from which they had emerged. Their energy signatures faded, leaving the human fleet alone in the sector, the strange structure ahead pulsing quietly as if acknowledging the humans' victory. The crew remained silent for a moment, letting the enormity of what had just occurred sink in. Fear had been replaced by awe. Uncertainty had been replaced by confidence. Humans had survived, yes, but they had also demonstrated something far greater. Ingenuity, courage, and power beyond expectation. Ryan looked at Voss, voice low but firm. "We've done it. One shot. And the galaxy has to rethink everything about humans." Voss nodded, eyes scanning the stars. "And this is only the beginning. They thought us primitive, underestimated us, and now they know. But the galaxy is vast, and threats will come again. Remember this lesson: humans endure, humans adapt, and humans strike with precision. One shot can change everything, but it is our will, our strategy, our unity that makes us unstoppable." The hum of the railguns subsided slightly, returning to a low vibration beneath the hull, a reminder that the power was there, ready to awaken again. The humans had survived the first encounter, had faced the unknown, and had emerged victorious. But the sector remained full of mysteries, and the alien structure ahead pulsed quietly, waiting, almost expectantly, for what would come next. And somewhere, far beyond human sensors, whispers of the railgun's first strike began to spread across the galaxy. A warning, a promise, a tremor of fear that no one could ignore. Humans had arrived. Humans had fired the first shot, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The void of space seemed quieter after the railgun strike, yet it thrummed with energy, the echo of the first human shot rippling farther than anyone aboard the Aurora could see. Commander Ilara Voss stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the hollow display of the scattered alien fleet. Their energy signatures were weak now, disrupted, trembling from the impact of one precise strike. Humans had done what no one had imagined. They had challenged the galaxy's assumptions and emerged victorious. But with victory came a realization heavier than any starship. Lieutenant Ryan leaned forward, voice low and tense. Commander, sensors are picking up alien communications. They're panicked. Entire fleets across the sector are in disarray. Word of our railgun strike is spreading faster than light can carry it. Voss's jaw tightened. Good, she said quietly, though inside, a different emotion stirred, pride mixed with caution. Let them fear. Let them understand what humans are capable of. But this is only the beginning. Fear can be dangerous if we underestimate it. The crew watched in awe as distant sectors began to flicker on the communications net. Messages, encrypted signals, and intercepted transmissions painted a galaxy-wide picture. Alien species that had once ignored humans were now scrambling. Fleets that had claimed dominance over thousands of systems were recalling ships, convening councils, sending fleets to investigate. Some transmitted warnings, urgent and trembling. Others scrambled to hide technology they had once flaunted. Across the galaxy, a single idea spread like wildfire. Humans had railguns and they were unstoppable. Mara's hands trembled on her console. Commander, the energy signatures. Some are attempting to recreate what we fired. They're trying to replicate our railgun technology. Voss's eyes narrowed, a shadow of concern crossing her face. They can try, Mara, but no one can replicate human ingenuity. We don't just have technology, we have strategy, coordination, and the will to survive. They will never understand that. Let them attempt. Let them panic. We stay ready. The hum of the railguns beneath the deck vibrated faintly, a heartbeat that reminded everyone aboard that the Aurora was more than a ship. It was a weapon, a promise, and a warning. Humans had demonstrated power, yes, but the responsibility weighed heavy. The first strike had not just destroyed ships. It had sent a message that could not be ignored. One shot had reshaped alliances, awakened fear, and ignited envy. Ryan's fingers danced across the console, intercepting alien signals. They're coordinating. Species across sectors are sending fleets we've never detected before. Some are talking about forming alliances against humans. Entire civilizations are mobilizing based on one shot. Voss exhaled slowly, her mind racing. Then we adapt. Humans survive because we anticipate. Humans endure because we prepare. This is what makes us different. Fear may follow us, but strategy will guide us. And no one, no species, can match human resilience when faced with the impossible. The crew felt a weight settle across the bridge. Every system was alive with data, every console a window into the galaxy's reaction. There was fear, yes, but also admiration, respect, and curiosity. Even the species that now scrambled in panic could not deny the fact. Humans had changed the rules of engagement. Humans had made the impossible possible. Mara whispered, almost to herself, "It's beautiful. The shockwaves, not just in space but in minds. They'll never see us the same way again." Voss nodded, voice quiet but firm. "No, they won't, and neither should we. Humans are rising, and the galaxy is noticing. Every species that watches will understand, sooner or later, that underestimating humans is dangerous. That is the true impact of the first shot." Suddenly, sensors flickered. Long-range scans picked up signals far beyond the sector. Fleets from neighboring galaxies, unknown and silent, were detecting the disturbances. Rumors, intercepted communications, even echoes of panic reached human ears aboard the Aurora. Every signal carried the same message. Humans were not to be ignored. Humans were no longer a minor player in galactic politics, they were a force. The weight of the moment pressed on every human aboard. They had fired a single shot, yes, but it had set off ripples they could barely comprehend. Entire civilizations were reconsidering their strategies. Alliances would form in response to humans, treaties would shift, and even species that had never seen Earth would whisper in fear of a planet that had produced such power. Ryan's voice broke the silence, tense but awed. "Commander, the galaxy, it's shaking. One shot, one single shot from humans, and the galaxy quaked. No one expected this." Voss turned, eyes fierce and burning with determination. "And that is exactly what humans do. We endure, we adapt, and when necessary, we strike with precision. One shot is all it takes to show the world what humans are capable of. But it is not just the shot. It is our will, our coordination, and our resolve that makes it unstoppable. Remember this, crew. We did not survive because of luck. We survived because humans never give up. Humans never back down. And humans rise when others falter." The Aurora drifted silently, the distant stars reflecting in its hull, a calm contrast to the chaos spreading across the galaxy. Humans felt the echo of the first shot in their bones, in their hearts, in every thought. They had become a symbol, a force to be reckoned with, a power that could not be ignored. Mara looked around, eyes wide, voice trembling. "Commander, they're watching. Every species, from every direction. They'll remember this day. Forever." Voss nodded, a small, grim smile crossing her face. "Let them remember. Let the galaxy remember the power humans wield. And let it know this truth: humans are not just survivors. Humans are fire, precision, and fury combined. One shot can change everything. And humans are just beginning." Even as the alien fleet scrambled to regroup, even as whispers of alliances and retaliation spread across sectors, humans aboard the Aurora felt an unshakable clarity. They had faced the impossible, had struck fear into the galaxy with a single, precise shot, and had survived. The railguns were more than weapons, they were a symbol. They were proof that humanity, small and underestimated for centuries, could change the rules of the galaxy with one decisive action. The first strike had not just destroyed ships. It had shattered assumptions, rewritten strategies, and sent a warning through space. Humans had arrived, humans had power, and humans would not be ignored. Ryan exhaled slowly, voice quiet, almost in disbelief. One shot, one human shot, and the galaxy itself trembles. Voss placed her hand on the railgun control panel, feeling the low vibration through the hull, a heartbeat of potential energy ready to be unleashed again. "Yes, Ryan," she said quietly, but with unwavering conviction. "And the galaxy will tremble again whenever humans choose to strike. That is the legacy of the first shot." As the Aurora moved silently through the sector, leaving the scattered alien remnants behind, the humans knew one truth. They had awakened something in the galaxy. Something that could not be ignored. Something that would be remembered. Something that would change the course of history forever. The shockwaves of the first shot would echo across space and time. A promise and a warning. A testament to human ingenuity, courage, and fury. And somewhere, far across uncharted sectors, civilizations that had never seen humans, that had never expected humanity to rise, now whispered a single thought, trembling in fear and awe: humans have railguns. The aftermath of the first shot still lingered in the air aboard the Aurora. The vibrations of the railguns, faint now but persistent, hummed beneath the hull like a heartbeat of controlled fury. Commander Alara Voss paced the bridge slowly, her eyes scanning the hollow display, taking in the scattered alien signals, intercepted communications, and sensor readings from the surrounding sector. The galaxy was no longer the same. Alien civilizations were scrambling, fleets were redirecting, and whispers of human power were spreading faster than any weapon ever could. Yet Voss did not feel victory. Not entirely. There was pride. Yes, a spark of it, burning bright in her chest. But there was also tension, a heavy weight of responsibility pressing down. One shot had shown the galaxy human strength, but it had also painted a target on their backs. Every alien intelligence system, every fleet command, every shadowy council would now be watching, waiting, planning. Humans had awakened something far larger than themselves. Lieutenant Ryan stepped forward, voice low, tinged with both awe and concern. "Commander, the aliens are regrouping. They're analyzing the railgun impact, recalculating strategies. Some fleets are retreating, yes, but others, they're forming new formations different than anything we've seen before. They're learning from us, and they're adapting." Voss nodded slowly, her gaze fixed on the far reaches of the holographic map. "Good," she said quietly. "If they are learning, we adapt faster. Humans survive because we anticipate, because we prepare, because we plan with precision. They see one shot and they think it is the limit of our power. They do not understand yet. They do not see the human mind, the ingenuity behind the firepower." The bridge hummed with tension as Mara monitored the railgun systems, checking energy levels, alignment, and cooling matrices. "Commander, the systems are stable, ready for another strike if necessary. But we need a plan. We cannot fire recklessly. One shot is a message. Too many shots, and we become a target for everything in the sector at once." Voss placed her hand on the console, feeling the hum through her fingers. "Exactly. Humans are precise. Every move, every shot, every decision counts. Strategy is our weapon as much as the railguns themselves. One strike can devastate a fleet, but a well-planned series of strikes can change the course of a war." The human fleet, small but resilient, floated silently through the disputed sector, watching, waiting, calculating. The aliens would return, of that Voss was certain. But humans would be ready. Humans had not only survived, they had learned, adapted, and understood the rhythms of the galaxy in ways their enemies had not anticipated. Ryan looked over the displays again, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe. "Commander, they're not just regrouping. Some alien fleets are consolidating with others. Entire sectors are moving as one. They're creating alliances. They might even be planning an all-out retaliation." Voss's eyes hardened, her resolve unshakable. "Then we strike smarter. We do not attack recklessly. We study, we predict, we exploit weaknesses. Humans endure not because we charge blindly into battle, but because we understand the battlefield better than anyone. They may have numbers, they may have technology, but humans have precision, foresight, and resolve. That is what makes us unstoppable." The crew exchanged nervous glances, tension lingering in the air like static electricity. The weight of the galaxy's expectations pressed on their shoulders. Every signal from the aliens was a question. Will humans fire again? Can they strike twice? Are they dangerous enough to destroy everything in their path? Mara shook her head slightly. "Commander, the scale of what we're facing, it's overwhelming. Entire fleets, superweapons, coordinated attacks. It's like the galaxy is waking up to the fact that humans exist. And now we're the threat they all fear." Voss's gaze swept across the crew, voice calm but filled with fire. "Yes, we are the threat. But that does not mean we lose ourselves to fear. Humans do not panic. Humans do not cower. Humans think, plan, and execute. The first shot was a warning. The next moves, our strategies, will be what defines this moment. We must be smart, precise, and relentless. Fear is their weapon, but strategy is ours." She turned back to the holo display, plotting trajectories, calculating distances, anticipating the alien responses. Every fleet, every ship, every potential path was analyzed. Humans had one advantage: adaptability. They could change tactics mid-battle, predict enemy movements, and strike where it hurt most. The railguns were not just weapons. They were extensions of human will, precise and devastating, but only as effective as the mind that commanded them. Ryan leaned closer to Voss. "Commander, there's a report from the long-range scouts. Alien fleets from neighboring sectors are moving closer. They're forming a ring. A trap, perhaps. They may want to lure us into a battle where numbers overwhelm precision." Voss's lips pressed together, mind racing. "Then we do not fall for the trap. We adapt. Humans do not fight blindly. We create opportunities where none exist. If they want a trap, we turn it into a battlefield of our choosing. Every movement, every shot, every calculation, perfect. That is how humans survive. That is how humans dominate. The hum of the railguns beneath the deck grew slightly louder, a reminder of the power waiting to be unleashed. The crew felt it in their bones, a steady vibration that mirrored their rising determination. Humans had survived impossible odds before. They had faced natural disasters, cosmic phenomena, and the cruelty of other civilizations, and they had endured. This was no different, only larger, only deadlier, only more significant. Mara adjusted the targeting systems, eyes wide, hands steady. "Commander, if we strike now, we can disable the lead ships of the formation. It would disrupt their coordination entirely. The railguns can pierce through their strongest shields if we focus." Voss nodded slowly, voice firm. "Then we prepare, observe, calculate, and when the moment comes, we strike not with fear, not with anger, but with the precision and resolve that defines humanity. Remember, one miscalculation, one hesitation, and we could lose everything. But one perfect plan, one coordinated strike, and we change the course of history." Ryan swallowed hard. "History, humans are making history right now, Commander. The galaxy will never be the same after this." Voss turned, her gaze firm, almost piercing through the darkness outside the bridge. "Yes, Ryan. And that is exactly why we must plan carefully. Humans endure, humans adapt, and humans strike with precision. Fury without strategy is destruction. Fury with strategy, that is unstoppable. That is the true power of humanity." The alien fleets moved in the distance, unaware that their every movement was observed, anticipated, calculated. They did not yet understand that humans were not merely reacting. They were orchestrating a response, turning fear into strategy, chaos into opportunity. The first shot had been a warning. The next moves, the strategies, would define the galaxy's understanding of human power forever. Voss exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of responsibility, the thrill of anticipation, and the calm determination that humans carried into every impossible situation. "The galaxy is watching, crew," she said, voice steady. "Every species, every fleet, every hidden council, they are all watching. And when humans move again, they will learn the cost of underestimating us. They will learn the cost of precision, foresight, and will. They will learn that humans endure, humans adapt, and humans strike with fury and strategy." The hum of the railguns beneath the deck resonated once more, steady and controlled, a heartbeat echoing through the ship. The Aurora drifted silently, ready, observant, calculating. The first strike had sent shockwaves. The next moves, the strategy of fury, would determine who survived, who fell, and who would remember the humans as a force unlike any other in the galaxy. And far across distant sectors, alien fleets paused, sensing the change. Humans were no longer a minor species to be dismissed. Humans were now a calculated threat, precise and relentless, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming next. Space was silent, but the silence was wrong. It was the kind that made human instincts scream even before sensors confirmed danger. The Aurora drifted forward slowly, its engines running at low output, its hull reflecting distant starlight like a ghost moving through the dark. Commander Ilara Voss stood still on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holomap. Every instinct she had told her the galaxy was holding its breath. Lieutenant Ryan broke the silence, his voice low and tight. "Commander, something feels off. No alien signals, no chatter, no movement. It's too quiet." Voss nodded slowly. "Yes, this is not retreat. This is preparation. They are waiting for us." Mara's fingers hovered over the console, her breath shallow. "Long-range sensors are fuzzy. It's like the space around us is bending. I don't like this, Commander." Before Voss could respond, the lights flickered. A low vibration ran through the hull, deep and sudden, like the ship had been struck by an invisible hand. Alarms screamed to life across the bridge. "Multiple contacts," Ryan shouted. "They're everywhere, coming out of the nebula, above, below, behind us. It's an ambush. Space exploded with movement. Alien ships poured out of the dark clouds like predators bursting from tall grass. Their hulls glowed with strange energy, their weapons already charging. They had waited for this moment. They had learned from the first shot. And now they had come to crush the humans before the railguns could speak again. Evasive maneuvers, Voss commanded. All power to shields. The Aurora lurched hard to the side as energy blasts ripped past its hull. One struck the shields, sending a shockwave through the ship that threw crew members from their feet. Consoles sparked. Lights dimmed. The bridge filled with the sharp smell of burning metal. Shields at 62%. Mara shouted. They're focusing fire on our engines. Ryan's hands flew across the controls. They're trying to cripple us. They know we can't fire railguns if we can't align. Voss's jaw tightened. The aliens were smarter than she hoped. This was not a reckless attack. This was calculated. Cold. Precise. Railguns? She asked. Charging, Mara said, panic in her voice. But alignment is unstable. If we fire now, we could tear ourselves apart. Another blast hit the shields. The deck shook violently. Somewhere deep in the ship, metal screamed. The crew felt it then. Not just fear, not just danger, but something heavier. Loss. A human ship on the edge of the formation took a direct hit. The shields collapsed instantly. The hull split open like paper. In seconds it was gone, swallowed by fire and darkness. Mara gasped. We lost Horizon. No survivors. Silence filled the bridge for half a heartbeat. Then Voss spoke, her voice low, steady, burning. They crossed the line. Her eyes were no longer calm. They were steel. Ryan, she said, give me a firing solution. I don't care how rough it is. We fire. Ryan hesitated. Commander, the risk is worth it, Voss snapped. Humans do not die quietly. We do not run. We do not beg. We strike. The crew felt it. That shift. That moment when fear turned into resolve. Railgun 1. Locked. Mara shouted. Charging at 94%. Fire, Voss said. The hum rose to a scream. The railgun fired. The blast tore through space like the wrath of a god. It punched straight through the leading alien ship, then the one behind it, and then another, ripping a glowing line of destruction through the enemy formation. The shockwave sent smaller ships spinning out of control. The nebula lit up like a dying star. Aliens screamed across open channels. Their perfect formation collapsed into chaos. Direct hits confirmed. Ryan shouted. Multiple enemy ships disabled or destroyed. But the ambush was not over. More alien ships surged forward, desperate now, angry, afraid. They fired wildly, no longer precise, no longer calm. One blast struck the Aurora's flank. The ship screamed in protest. Hull breach on Deck 7, Mara cried. Medical teams responding. Voss gripped the rail, her knuckles white. Every loss cut deep. Every explosion was a life. Family. Future. This is what they wanted, she whispered. To break us. To scare us. She straightened. They failed. Second railgun ready, Mara shouted. Alignment stable. Fire again, Voss said. The second blast was even stronger. It tore the heart out of the ambush, shattering command ships, breaking coordination, turning fear into full retreat. Alien ships scattered, fleeing into the nebula, leaving wreckage and silence behind them. The battle ended as suddenly as it had begun. The bridge was quiet now, filled only with the soft crackle of damaged systems and the distant hum of the railguns cooling down. Ryan exhaled slowly. They ran. They actually ran. Mara sank into her seat, tears streaming down her face. We survived. But Voss did not smile. She looked at the wreckage floating outside the viewport. Human ships, alien ships, broken metal and silent stars. This was a test, she said quietly. And it was only the first. The crew looked at her. They were not trying to win, Voss continued. They were trying to learn, to measure us. To see how we react when we bleed. She turned back to the stars. Now they know. The railguns hummed softly, like beasts resting between hunts. The galaxy had tried to trap humanity in the dark. Instead, it had taught humans something important. They could be ambushed. They could be hurt. They could lose. But they could not be broken. And far away, as alien fleets limped back to their territories, a single truth spread through terrified minds. The silence after the ambush was heavier than the battle itself. Wreckage floated slowly through space, glowing pieces of broken ships turning like dying stars. The Aurora moved forward carefully, damaged but alive, its engines humming with effort. Inside, the air felt different. Victory had not brought relief. It had brought fear, because now humans knew the truth. The aliens were not done. Commander Ilara Voss stood alone on the bridge for a moment, staring at the debris of the fight. Every broken ship was a message. Every drifting body was a reminder. Humans had won, but they had also been tested. The ambush was not meant to destroy them. It was meant to measure them. Lieutenant Ryan approached quietly. His uniform was torn, his face pale, but his eyes were sharp. Commander, long-range scans are back online. We are picking up something. Something big. Voss turned slowly. How big? Ryan swallowed. Bigger than anything we've ever seen. It's not a fleet. It's not a station. It's a weapon. The bridge went silent. Mara's fingers trembled as she pulled up the data. A massive shadow appeared on the holo display, hidden deep inside a dead star system. It was enormous, stretching across space like a scar. Power readings spilled off the charts. Even at this distance, its energy made the sensors scream. "Oh no!" Mara whispered. "That's not a ship. That's a planet killer." Voss closed her eyes for a second. Just one. Then she opened them and the fire was back. "They built it to end wars in one strike," she said softly. "To erase worlds. To make resistance impossible." Ryan shook his head slowly. "Commander, if they activate that thing, Earth won't even see it coming." The words hit like a blade. Earth. Home. Every human aboard the Aurora felt it. Families. Cities. Oceans. Blue skies. Children who had never seen war. All of it could vanish in a single silent blast. Mara's voice cracked. "They weren't trying to defeat us. They were distracting us. The ambush. It was a delay." Voss slammed her hand onto the console. "They thought we were blind. They thought we would celebrate and rest. They thought wrong." The Aurora changed course instantly, engines roaring louder, burning with urgency. The crew moved without orders. Fear was there, yes, but something stronger was rising above it. Resolve. Human resolve. "Commander," Ryan said quietly, "if we go after that weapon, we won't come back the same. Maybe not at all." Voss looked at him, her eyes steady. "We were never going to come back the same. Not after the first shot. Not after the ambush. Humans don't survive by staying the same. We survive by becoming more." The shadow of the weapon grew larger as they approached. It was surrounded by alien ships, hundreds of them, guarding it like a sacred god. Energy lines pulsed across its surface, glowing red and gold, building power. Every second brought it closer to activation. Mara stared at the readings, tears running silently down her face. "It's charging. If it reaches full power, nothing can stop it." Voss leaned forward. "Nothing except us." The crew felt the truth of those words settle into their bones. They were alone. No fleet behind them. No help coming. Just one wounded ship. And one impossible choice. "Railguns can't penetrate its outer shell," Ryan said. "The armor is layered. Designed to absorb kinetic energy." Voss nodded. "Then we don't hit the shell." She pointed at the energy core. "We hit the heart." Mara gasped. "Commander, that means getting inside the defense ring. That's suicide." Voss's voice softened. "No, that's humanity." Silence filled the bridge again. Then one by one the crew straightened. No one stepped back. No one refused. Mara wiped her tears. "Railguns can be modified. If we overload the capacitors and fire at close range, we might punch through. Might, Ryan repeated. Voss smiled slightly. That's all humans ever need. The Aurora surged forward, slipping through the outer defenses as alien ships opened fire. Explosions rocked the hull. Alarms screamed. The ship shook violently. Fires erupted in corridors. But the crew held steady. Shields failing, Mara shouted. Hold, Voss commanded. Just a little more. The massive weapon loomed ahead now, filling the viewport. It was beautiful and terrifying, like a god built from metal and hatred. Its core pulsed brighter, seconds from firing. Railgun charged. Mara screamed. But this will tear the ship apart. Voss did not hesitate. Fire. The railgun screamed like a dying star. The blast slammed into the weapon's core at point-blank range. Space twisted. Light exploded. Energy screamed outward in every direction. The Aurora was thrown back violently, systems collapsing, power dying. For a moment, everything went dark. Then light returned. The alien weapon cracked. A massive fracture split across its surface, spreading like lightning. The core collapsed inward, folding space, swallowing itself. In seconds, the greatest weapon the galaxy had ever built was gone, erased by a single human strike. The bridge was silent. Then Ryan whispered, We did it." Mara collapsed into her seat, sobbing. Voss closed her eyes, exhausted, wounded, but alive. "No," she said softly. "We survived. There's a difference." Outside, alien fleets fled in terror, abandoning their greatest creation without a second thought. The galaxy had just learned something new. Humans did not just defend. Humans destroyed the impossible. And as the Aurora drifted in the wreckage, barely alive, one truth echoed through space like a silent scream. The Aurora drifted through broken light and silence, its hull scarred, its systems barely alive. Smoke filled the corridors. Emergency lights flickered like dying stars. The ship that had shattered a planet killer now struggled to breathe, but it was still moving, still alive. Commander Ilara Voss sat in the captain's chair, blood on her forehead, hands shaking, eyes burning with determination. Every system report screamed failure, but her heart screamed louder. Humans were not done. "Life support stable, for now," Mara whispered, her voice hoarse. "Engines barely responding. We're bleeding power." Ryan leaned against the console, breathing hard. "Alien fleets. They're regrouping. They didn't expect us to survive that. But now they're angry." Voss looked at the stars, broken and twisted from the explosion. "Good," she said quietly. "Anger makes mistakes. Fear makes them reckless." The Aurora limped forward, and the galaxy watched. Alien fleets began to close in again, not in chaos this time, but in fury. Hundreds of ships formed a wall of metal and light, cutting off every escape route. Their signals were loud now, screaming, filled with hatred and disbelief. They had lost their greatest weapon. They had lost their control, and they would not forgive humans for it. "They're surrounding us," Mara said. "We have no safe vector." Ryan's voice dropped. "This is the end, isn't it?" Voss stood up slowly, steady despite the pain. She looked at her crew. Wounded, exhausted, afraid, but unbroken. "No," she said. "This is the moment they will remember forever." She activated the external channel. Her voice echoed across space, raw and human, not translated, not softened. "This is Commander Ilara Voss of Earth," she said. "You tried to erase us. You tried to scare us. You tried to break us. You failed." The alien fleet paused. "We are hurt," she continued. "We are bleeding, but we are still here. And if you come closer, we will burn you with everything we have left." Ryan stared at her. "Commander, we don't have anything left." Voss smiled. "That's what they think." Mara's eyes widened. "You're not talking about the reserve cores, are you?" "Yes," Voss said softly. "All of them. That will destroy the ship," Ryan said. "We won't survive it." Voss nodded. Humans never survive by running. We survive by standing. The crew looked at each other. No one moved. No one objected. They all understood. Mara wiped her face and nodded. I'll do it. Ryan took a deep breath. Then I'll guide the aim. The alien fleets moved closer, weapons glowing, ready to erase the Aurora from existence. They believed this was over. They were wrong. Charging all reserve power into the railguns, Mara said, her voice shaking. This will burn every system we have. Do it, Voss said. The ship screamed. Power surged through the hull, ripping through broken conduits, melting panels, setting fires in every deck. The railguns began to glow white-hot, energy spilling into space like solar flares. Commander, Ryan whispered, this will kill us. Voss's voice was calm. Then we die human. The aliens finally understood something was wrong. They tried to pull back. Too late. Fire, Voss said. The railguns released everything. Not a shot. A storm. Space broke. A wall of pure kinetic fire tore through the alien fleets, shredding ships, collapsing shields, ripping formations apart like paper. The blast wave rolled outward, smashing through enemy lines, carrying the fury of a species that refused to kneel. Alien ships exploded by the dozens. Entire formations vanished. The void burned. The Aurora was thrown backward, its systems dying one by one, power draining, lights fading. The bridge went dark. Silence. Then emergency lights flickered back on. Mara coughed. We're alive? Ryan laughed weakly. Barely. Voss collapsed into her chair, tears running freely now, not from pain, but from release. They ran, she whispered. They all ran. Outside, the alien fleet was gone, fleeing in every direction, broken, terrified, scattered. The galaxy had seen it. A single ship, broken, burning, refusing to die. The Aurora drifted, wounded but victorious, surrounded by the wreckage of those who had tried to end humanity. Mara looked out the viewport, her voice soft. They will tell stories about this, won't they? Voss nodded slowly. Yes, and in every story, they will remember that humans do not stop when they are hurt. They stop only when they choose to. The stars seemed to burn brighter now, as if space itself was watching in silence. And across the galaxy, a new truth spread like fire through frightened minds. The battle was over, but space was not quiet. It was too quiet. Broken ships drifted like dead stars. Pieces of alien hulls slowly turned in the dark, still glowing red from heat. Human railgun rounds had torn straight through everything. The sector that once felt crowded now felt empty, like a graveyard. The human flagship Resolute Dawn moved slowly forward, engines low like it was afraid to disturb the dead. Inside the command bridge, no one spoke. Captain Hale stood still, hands behind his back, eyes locked on the screen. His face showed no pride, no joy, only weight. They had won. But winning did not feel like victory. Lieutenant Mira finally broke the silence. Her voice was soft. Scans confirm. No hostile signals remain. No cheers came. No fists in the air. Just slow breathing. Some crew members closed their eyes. Some looked down at the floor. A few quietly wiped tears they did not want others to see. These were soldiers. Trained. Strong. But they were also human. They had just erased an entire fleet. Far from the bridge, deep in the ship, Engineer Ross sat on the floor beside a cracked panel. His hands were shaking. He had built part of the railgun system himself. For years, he had believed it was only a deterrent, a warning. Now he knew the truth. We did this, he whispered to no one. The railguns were silent now. The hum that once shook the ship was gone. But everyone still felt it, echoing in their bones. Captain Hale turned slowly. Damage report, he said. Minor hull stress, came the reply. Ammo levels down 40%. Crew stable. No fatalities. Hale nodded. No fatalities. That word should have brought relief. But his eyes went back to the screen. The alien fleet had laughed at them. Now that laughter was dust. Far away, hidden behind the ruined station, a small alien scout ship watched in fear. Its crew had seen everything. The railguns, the speed, the silence, the way humans did not celebrate. The scout's commander whispered a message into the void. Humans are not primitive. They are restrained. The message was sent. And then the scout fled. Back on the resolute dawn, alarms suddenly blinked. "Captain," Mira said. "Energy spike detected. The station, it's still active." The massive alien station, cracked and burning, was not dead. Deep inside it, something old was waking up. The energy was different now. Not hostile. Not friendly. Ancient. Hale felt a chill run through him. "All ships hold position," he ordered. "No firing. Not unless I say so." The fleet obeyed instantly. The station's outer shell slowly opened like a giant eye. Light poured out, blue, soft, and sad. A signal spread through space, touching every ship, every mind. Some crew members gasped. Some cried. Some fell to their knees. They were seeing memories. A galaxy long dead. Civilizations burned. Worlds lost. And at the center of it all, fear of something worse than humans. The station was not a weapon. It was a warning. Hale closed his eyes. His voice shook when he spoke. "This is why they guarded it, and why they feared us." The humans had come for relics. They had found a truth. And now the galaxy would never be the same. The light faded. The station went dark forever. Silence returned. Real silence this time. Captain Hale straightened. "Set course for home," he said quietly. "The galaxy just learned who we are. Next time, they won't laugh." As the fleet turned, stars stretched ahead like a long road of destiny. Behind them, the graveyard of ships drifted slowly. The human fleet moved through space in perfect silence. Engines were low. Lights were dim. No music played. No voices joked in the halls. It felt like a funeral procession moving between the stars. The victory had followed them, like a shadow. On the bridge of the resolute dawn, Captain Hale stood alone at the front window. The stars slid past his eyes, but he did not see them. He saw the faces from the battle. The alien ships breaking apart. The moment the railguns fired. The moment everything changed. He had given the order. That truth was heavier than any metal. Behind him, the crew worked quietly. Each movement was slow, careful, like they were afraid to break something fragile inside themselves. Lieutenant Mira finally stepped closer. "Captain, the Council is requesting a live transmission." Hale turned. His face looked older now. "Put it through." The holofield filled the bridge. Human leaders appeared, generals, scientists, politicians. Their faces were tense, eyes full of questions. "We received the battle data," one of them said. "Is it true? One blast destroyed their entire front line." Hale nodded. "Yes." A low murmur spread through the council. Fear and pride mixed together, and that scared Hale more than the enemy ever had. "They will fear us now," another voice said. "This changes everything." Hale stepped forward, his voice calm but sharp. "No. This ends everything if we're not careful." Silence followed. The council members stared. "We didn't just win a fight," Hale continued. "We showed the galaxy what happens when humans stop holding back. If we become only a weapon, we will be treated like one." The council said nothing. The transmission ended. Hale felt empty. Far away, in another part of the galaxy, the scout ship's message reached the alien empires. Leaders who had ruled for thousands of years listened in horror. The recording played again and again, the railgun shot, the impossible speed, the total erasure. Some called humans monsters. Some called them gods. Most called them danger. And so they began to prepare. Back on the resolute dawn, the crew gathered in the mess hall. Not for food, for comfort. Some sat together in silence. Others held hands. A few stared at nothing at all. Engineer Ross finally spoke, his voice breaking. "My daughter asked me once why we build weapons." No one interrupted. "I told her, so we don't have to use them." His eyes filled with tears. No one looked away. Across the ship, a young navigator sat in her bunk, listening to a recording from home. Her mother's voice filled the room, warm and soft. It hurt more than any wound. Humans were strong, but strength had a price. The ship's lights dimmed further as they entered long travel. Sleep should have come. Didn't. Hale returned to the bridge late. He stood alone again, watching the stars. "Are we still the good ones?" he whispered to the dark. No answer came, but somewhere deep inside the ship, the railgun system powered down fully for the first time since activation. The low hum faded into nothing. For a moment, the universe felt lighter. Then sensors flared. Multiple energy signatures appeared at the edge of detection. Dozens, then hundreds, not attacking, watching. Myra's voice was quiet, afraid. "Captain, the galaxy is gathering." Hale closed his eyes. They had wanted to be explorers. Now they were a warning. The fleet continued forward, small and silent, carrying the weight of humanity's future with every mile. The stars ahead of the human fleet began to change. Not fade, not move. They shifted, like eyes closing in fear. The resolute dawn slowed as dozens of alien fleets appeared across the void. They formed a vast arc, blocking every major path forward. Ships of every size and shape drifted in silence. Ancient empires, young coalitions, species humans had only seen in history files. All of them were there, watching. No weapons fired, no shields flared. It was worse than war. On the bridge, the air felt thick. No one spoke. Even breathing sounded too loud. Captain Hale stood still, his hands behind his back, his eyes locked on the massive formation. His crew waited for orders that did not come. "They're afraid," Mira whispered. Hale nodded. "Yes, and fear makes people do stupid things." A transmission request came from everywhere at once. Not one signal, hundreds merging into a single channel. The galaxy was calling. Hale took a slow breath. "Open it." The hollow field exploded into light. Faces filled the air. Alien leaders, some towering, some small, some barely recognizable as living beings. Their eyes glowed, flickered, or burned with old intelligence. A voice rose above the rest. Ancient, tired, powerful. "Humans, you fired a weapon that broke the rules of war. You erased fleets in a blink. You changed the balance." Hale's voice was steady. "We defended ourselves." The alien leader's eyes narrowed. "Defense does not require annihilation." A murmur spread through the channel. Hale stepped closer, his voice low but strong. "You laughed at us. You followed us. You cornered us. You left us no space to run. Humans don't surrender to extinction." Silence. The galaxy listened. Another voice spoke, younger, shaking. "If you fire again, you will end us all." Hale's jaw tightened. "Then stop giving us reasons." The words fell like iron. Time stretched. No one moved. No weapons charged. Then something unexpected happened. The alien fleets began to move away. One by one, massive ships pulled back, opening lanes through the stars. The arc broke. The blockade collapsed. The galaxy blinked. On the resolute dawn, a breath escaped every chest at once. Some crew members sank into their seats. Others cried openly. A few laughed, broken and soft. Mira wiped her face. "They're letting us pass." Hale watched the open path. "No," he said quietly. "They're stepping aside." The human fleet moved forward slowly, carefully, like walking through a crowd that could still turn violent at any moment. As they passed, alien ships watched in silence. No insults, no laughter, only eyes filled with memory. Humans were no longer ignored. They were no longer mocked. They were remembered. Far away, in hidden chambers, alien councils shattered. Old laws burned. New fears were written into history. A single word spread from empire to empire, whispered like a curse and a prayer at the same time. Railgun. On the bridge, Hale finally sat down. The weight in his chest had not vanished, but it had shifted. He had not chosen war. The galaxy had chosen restraint. Mira looked at him. "What happens now, Captain?" Hale stared at the open stars. Now, we prove we're more than what they fear. Behind them, the alien fleets closed their lines, but not to trap them, to stay away. And for the first time since the railgun fired, the universe felt quiet again. But not peaceful. The human fleet moved beyond the last alien ships, and space opened again like a deep breath after drowning. No one chased them, no one followed, but everyone watched. The silence that wrapped the fleet was not empty. It was heavy with memory. Weeks passed in long travel. No alarms, no battles, just stars, endless and cold, sliding past the windows. The crew began to change. They spoke softly now. They moved slower. Laughter returned, but it was careful like glass. Each person carried something invisible inside them, something that could not be measured by scanners or charts. Captain Hale stood on the observation deck alone, as he often did now. The stars looked the same, but he knew the galaxy was not. A line had been crossed. A door closed forever. Mira joined him, holding 2 cups of warm drink. She handed one to him without a word. They stood together, watching the void. "They're rewriting the records," she said finally. Hale nodded. "I know. They erased the species we destroyed from their history logs. Even their name is gone." Hale closed his eyes. The last species that made humans angry. No one would remember that name again. Only the result. A signal arrived from Earth. Not from the Council. Not from the military. From ordinary people. Messages from cities, farms, schools, hospitals. Children's drawings. Old voices. Simple words. "Come home. We're proud of you. Please don't change. Remember who you are." The bridge filled with quiet sobs as the messages played. The strongest fleet in the galaxy, reduced to tears by love. Hale turned to his crew. "This is why we fight," he said. "Not to be feared, not to rule, but to protect this simple life." The fleet changed course. Not toward war, not toward conquest, toward home. As they traveled, something strange happened across the galaxy. Trade routes reopened, but carefully. Alien ships altered their paths to avoid humans. Old empires dismantled fleets, afraid of becoming targets. New treaties formed in silence, written with shaking hands. Humanity had not declared dominance. The galaxy had decided it for them. But humans refused the throne. At Earth, the fleet arrived to a sky full of lights. Millions watched from below as the ships descended like slow-moving stars. No victory parade, no banners, just people standing together looking up. Hale stepped onto the ground and felt the pull of gravity, heavy and real. He knelt and touched the soil. "We're still here," he whispered. Above him, the railgun systems were dismantled piece by piece. Not destroyed, but sealed, locked away, waiting for a future no one wanted. And across the galaxy, historians would later write of that moment. Not as a war, not as a conquest, but as the day the universe learned something simple and terrifying. Humans do not seek power. Humans do not seek fear. But when pushed to the edge, they end stories.